Um, we're live.
All right. Looks like we're back again for another podcast episode.
Yes, my friend.
Awesome.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. For those joining you for the first time, my name is Adedire,
I'm Tom Leffler.
and this is the Escaping Success podcast.
Welcome.
Welcome. So we've actually had a bit of a nice little
Hiatus.
in terms of seeing one another. So today we're really gonna just kind of catch up in front of you all and hear about Tom's experience in Costa Rica. So hope you all enjoy it.
Before we get to me, I'm just curious about you because AD's life has a lot going on. He just had a newborn child. He's just recently on paternity leave. So this is new for me. So I'm just curious how you doing, how you adjusting to this.
Yeah.
How's the family life? How's your personal life? How's your relationship with the big man? How's your relationship with fitness? Like, has anything changed? I'm just curious. What's your updates with you?
Absolutely appreciate you, man. So, fortunately, it's not my first rodeo. So I've already had my daughter. She's 2 years old now. So in terms of like having a child, like I'm not really like I'm not like as green as I was with my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I have noticed though that like it is good to have that prior experience because a lot of times I'm the one calming everyone down. Like everything is gonna be okay. Like we went through this with Shalape. I know you might not remember, but she was just as gassy or blah blah blah. So it's like having that reassurance that I've been through it before feels a lot better. Because I think the first child I was stressing out a lot over a lot of things that really weren't like big deals. Like if a child's gassy, it's like either change the formula, make sure there's no bubbles in the water, like in the formula, like there's adjustments that need to be made to like address that, and then just not building bad habits with my child, and then I think what's been interesting with this child is just my daughter, seeing her develop. Because given that she was the only child for a long time, it's very interesting now. Like she has to help me like grab the diaper when I'm changing, like grab a wipe. Like I'm really trying to keep her involved, and it's really helping with her progress and her I think even her growing up really and her development. And then as for my wife, it's very interesting for her too because I feel like initially she's overwhelmed. Now she's getting to a place now that her faculties are coming back. Like she can stand up longer. She can like go back to like pretty much 85 to 90% of what she was doing before. And I think that's really good for someone's mental well-being. Not walking up the stairs once and being gassed or like having abdominal pain or like I think as she gets kind of healthier, it's gonna be her outlook generally will be a lot better. And then what I found too with this second child is I'm very thankful that I have paternity leave because I don't know how we would manage if I was at work and she had to deal with both of them while trying to recover and things of that nature. So I'm very fortunate to have that time to be home with them, and I think my daughter even appreciates it, spending a lot of time with me. So it's been great, man. I have no complaints on the kind of like the earth level in terms of relationships. Things are going very well. And obviously, I think in having another child, I also understand like the goodness of God to another measure because it's like you see this child and you're like, wow, like this was a gift onto me, and just seeing how the child like needs to rely on me for everything, and the child like cries even if I have the food right in front of him because he doesn't know that I'm about to put it in his mouth, right? So I think it reiterates to me kind of like how I'm a baby in God's hands, and a lot of times I'm wailing and but at the same way I would not allow my child to die of hunger or like to suffer. There's no way God's gonna want me to suffer as well. But it's like trusting that. If I guess my baby doesn't really have the ability to comprehend trust is something that eventually will be seen. But I'm starting to see like, oh, there's certain signs that he knows that he's about to get fed, and he calms down a little bit. So it's like I just need to calm down and allow like God to feed me or to nourish me with all the things because I can't nourish myself, which is like kind of deep, but kind of like how I it kind of reminded me of that.
Mm-hmm.
So
how about yourself? Like how's your own personal fitness journey?
definitely.
Like relationship with friends? Does that change at all?
Yeah, so nothing's changed, you know. I think it's just being strategic with how I kind of like spend my time. Fortunately, I don't have work. That's a non-factor. So depending on whether or not I did the night shift, so I stayed up all night with the baby, or I'm working with the baby in the morning, that kind of depends on how I'm like spending time with people. But in terms of working out, like I've mainly been exercising in the evening. I hired a new coach, one of my buddies from college. He's a powerlifting coach for actually Northeastern, and he's a doctor of physical therapy. So shout out to Cormac. He's been putting together some programs for me because I don't know, man. I realize that goals are very interesting in the gym. Like I obviously still have the goal of losing weight. Like I still want to lose another 72 pounds. By the end of the year, I would be content with 50 at the very, very minimum, but I'm not going to try to kill myself to do it. Like I'm obviously going to do it smart and all that stuff. But I want to maintain my strength or get stronger. Specifically in the bench, I want to get a 500-pound bench this year at a lighter weight. And then I think a way that I'm trying to reiterate that goal is by thinking of competing again. And I'd like to compete again at the ideally at the 275-pound weight class. I think my last meet I was either 295, so I competed at the 308 weight class, but I'd like to do my next powerlifting meet at the 275-pound weight class. And, get a 700 squat, like 500 bench, and 700 deadlift at 275. Yeah. So I don't know whether, like, again, it's a long-term goal.
I love it though.
I don't know whether it's going to be this year or next year or the year after, but I definitely
think it's a fantastic goal.
Because I'm not really trying to compromise my strength for my fitness. So
which will also help you keep muscle.
Exactly.
So I think that's a great. It's like, okay, you could go down to 275 just by doing it like crazy dieting and a lot of cardio, but then you'd probably be more like skinny fat, soft looking, and probably slower metabolism versus the harder way. But the better way would be like, might take longer. It's like, no, I want to go down to 275, but maintain, if not, and probably increase your strength, because as you lose like the excess weight, you'll feel better. You'll be healthier.
Better mobility too.
Yeah, so like you'll be surprised, and so I think that's a fantastic goal, and that's going to be hard. But I'm proud of you for making it.
Very difficult.
But it's great.
Very difficult.
Especially nothing.
Especially the naysayers, because a lot of people are confused, like, by
why are you
doing that? I thought you were losing weight. Why are you lifting heavy weight? And it's like, because I'm a natural athlete and I'm not taking exogenous hormones. Like if I was taking testosterone, I could just do hypertrophy.
Oh yeah, because you'll maintain muscle mass. It'll preserve it. Yeah.
But as a natural athlete, the very sheer point of me reducing my calories or just changing the way I eat and things like that, I'm losing muscle. So like I have to lift heavy to try to keep on some of that mass, like to reduce the amount of atrophy.
And that's a huge point that most people do not realize is like, actually when people are like, they go on a cut or they lose weight, they're like, oh, I'm going to do circuits or I'm going to do super high reps. But the workouts that had you build the muscle are the same workouts you should do when you try losing the weight, because it'll help you maintain the muscle. The only thing that really changes is your like activity in the sense of maybe steps per day, but mostly nutrition. But people always think like, oh, I want to lose weight, so I'm going to do like this high intensity cardio class, or I'm just going to lift, do circuits or whatever. But it's counterintuitive. It's like, okay, if you want to lose weight but maintain the muscle, how'd you build the muscle in the first place? By getting stronger, by lifting heavier weights, by like more reps. Like, so it's actually, you do the thing that kept or built you the mass. The only thing you change is the other factors, because it sends a muscle building signal or the muscle preservation signal to your body. Like, hey, we still got to be strong. We still got to lift heavy weight, so we can't lose the muscle.
100%.
But the other signal is like, no, calories are going down, so we got to go into lose the fat. So I think that is something that people overlook, and that's why a lot of people get upset when they like lose a bunch of weight and their metabolism is slower, or they don't even look good after. They might lose like 20 pounds, but they could lose 10 pounds of muscle, 10 pounds of fat. And actually, your body fat is actually higher
now.
And that's the crazy thing.
The percentage is actually higher now.
It's higher, if you lose the same amount of muscle and the same amount of fat. So it's like, it's such a mind F, but I think what you're doing is awesome, but it's harder.
Very difficult.
But I love that.
Very difficult. It's definitely very difficult. One thing that I definitely need to implement in my into my training now is definitely cardio. So
that's not being crazy. I think walking.
Yeah, I think realistically, what it's gonna have to look like is like either after my workout, like 10 or 15 minutes or something, just walking. Because bro, I'm not gonna lie, like my workouts take like two to 3 hours, because
That's a long time.
Because
bro.
what it is like I like to warm up. I don't want to get hurt.
When you listen to that heavy weight,
So
you have to.
exactly. So like it's not that I'm exercising that long. Like it's legitimately like, all right, we're squatting. All right, it takes like 30 minutes to warm up. Bench. All right, it takes like 20 minutes to warm up because we're gonna be in the 300 pounds and I don't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
I think on Wednesday I squatted. I took my time with squats, so it took like an hour, 20 minutes, and then the gym was about to close. So I was like, all right, for bench I have to do close grip, and my first set is 315 for 6 tempos. So 3 seconds on the way down, 2-second pause, and explode up. So I just loaded up the bar with 315 right after squats. I went under it and did it, and I think my second set was supposed to be like 300 or something. I had to drop it to 275 because like, bro, like my arms literally like right under my armpit. Like I literally felt so sore because I didn't really warm up as much as I needed to. So I've actually had to take some time off from the gym. It's not an injury per se, but I just definitely felt like, yo, like this thing is like tight.
You know your
so
body.
I just took some time away. But today I'm back deadlifting.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized like it really is gonna take like 2 to 3 hours for me to just warm up so I don't get hurt, because that's the worst thing ever, to just get injured. I know they say like the metabolic rate for working out should be like 45 minutes and things of that nature, but they also used to say that you can only have 50 grams of protein per meal. So I take all those things with a grain of salt.
But it's also, if you're warming up for 30, 40 minutes, I don't think I think the 45 minutes to an hour for natural lifters is like intensity, like training. But if you're warming up or cooling down, whatever it is, I think
it's not part of the intensity. 100%. That's part of like the getting ready and stuff, like modulating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
And I do think like finding ways to implement cardio, and my personal view on this, which is a little research behind, is actually it's a good time to do cardio after workout, because it mimics almost like if you like the bro science, which studies come out like the fasted cardio in the morning, because you're you have no food in there, so you kind of go into glycogen, and then depending on how many carbs you had the night before, fat stores. So that's why like a lot of bodybuilders or people like, hey, you want to lose fat, you do fasted cardio in the morning. But you get kind of a similar effect if you do it after your workout, because ideally during your workout you're going through all your glycogen stores, so then you have to tap into your fat stores. Because like if you work out hard for an hour, 90 minutes, like you use all the carbs, the glycogen, all the sugars in your muscles, so then the only thing left at that point is fat. So I've done that personally, and also I think it's better too, because like ideally like a fasted cardio session, it's tough because you want to do 2 sessions. You wake up, you do fasted cardio, and then you like, if people like The Rock, for example, he does fasted cardio, he eats, and then he works out. Again, that's, most people don't have that time or energy dedication, but you get similar effects if you, hey, whatever, eat or don't eat, work out, then do your fasted cardio.
I think that's more realistic too for my timeline.
Yeah.
Given the family and my other responsibilities,
because you're there
to
already.
get everything done.
So I think that's more for people's schedule. Like, again, I'm a bachelor, I'm a single guy, so I could make that work, but you have 2 children, it's a different, different stage of life. Yeah. So I think it's all, if you could do that, but I think that works well. So I think that's a great idea.
But I'm very excited for the strength block coming up, because these last 2 weeks the volume has been high, the weight and intensity has been low. He texted me, I think last night / this morning, like, hey man, like, we're upping the intensity. The volume's gonna stay the same, but the intensity and the weight's gonna increase next week. So I'm excited for that, because it's nice. Because I've been doing my squats at RPE 4, so I was really excited because my last workout was tempo squats, 3 seconds down on the way down, and then 2-second pause and back up. And RPE 4 for me was 315. So I did 4 sets of 5 with 315 at RPE 4. So that, for me, that's pretty exciting, because RPE just means rate of perceived effort. So like that's like on the lower end for me. Like that was like fairly easy, quote unquote, and I haven't really squatted. So I'm excited to see, as I build up the RPEs, what the numbers are gonna look like, to see like for squatting.
And actually, just a side note, it's funny to see, like we talked about how I track my workouts, you track your nutrition.
Yeah.
And now I see you're tracking your workouts, and not that I'm tracking my nutrition, but just like it's funny seeing like now you're starting to track your workouts.
Oh, bro, I'm tracking everything now. Like,
yeah, because I remember a couple weeks ago, you're like, like I track my calories, but like kind of training.
I stopped tracking my calories, man. I need to start tracking them again.
So you like switch back, yeah. But I do think what I see too with you, and for anyone out there starting a fitness journey, is most people, they start their fitness journey not from a good place. Myself, and I don't know if this is you, but for me personally, it's like either I was fat and I just didn't like the way I looked. So it's like coming from like self-hate,
Yeah.
or I'm like, I'm gonna beat myself up, or I'm just gonna burn as many calories as possible, or just like destroy myself in the gym.
Yeah.
But that's not a long-term approach. And I see, and I like this, that like, okay, you're tapping into, you're an athlete at heart,
Yeah.
and you liked in college, you were a very good discus, shot put, hammer thrower, like you compete at the highest collegiate level. So you're going back into those roots of like, how do I make lifting and this more of like a athletic pursuit? And so I see that's going to be long term for you, because like you're like, hey, I want to get stronger. I'm tracking this. I see the goals. I have a weight. I want to get to 275. Do this meet. So it's like you have like that. That's going to keep you on your course.
Yeah.
Versus somebody's like, I just want to lose weight or I want to look better, which I think is valid.
It's valid, yeah.
But it might be harder, or if you don't like working out, it makes it harder. So I would say for some people, the goal is to not need something on the calendar long term. But I think like, hey, if like you don't like working out, or like you can't find motivation, it's like you do like a Spartan race, or you do maybe even bodybuilding show.
I agree with you.
If you put something on the calendar, it's like, hey, I got to be consistent, or it could be a triathlon or Iron Marathon, or it could just be, something that like will keep you like on bar, and then something like, hey, in a year I have this meet I want to reach here, or I have this race in a year I got to be in shape for it. So it's like, I think that is really good to put on a calendar and find what you enjoy. For you, it's powerlifting. Yeah. For another person, it might be obstacle racing. For another person, it might be marathon. So there's so many things. And it's like, how do you find what you enjoy?
Yeah.
Because like, if you hate to exercise,
which a lot of us do.
Yeah. But
I'm not gonna lie, it sucks. It sucks going there for. I'd rather sit home and play video games and watch TV or just hold my baby. Like I rather. There's a million things that I'd rather do than to be in there sweating and like paid.
And that's the thing. Like people don't realize the pain with powerlifting,
dude.
It's just like it's grueling. It's grinding. Like people are like, oh, you just lift heavy weights, easy. Like honestly, I'd rather lift like in the 8 to 12 rep range and feel a burn versus we like are going to do like 2 to 3 reps like barely getting them. Like,
but what sucks about powerlifting too is that like in the beginning of your mesocycle, the volume is heavy. So like I'm doing it might not seem like a lot, but I'm doing like in my movement, like in the bench movements, it's reps of 6. 300 pounds, 4 sets.
Volume.
And then now when I'm doing my accessories, all my accessories, lat pull down, leg extensions, leg press, shoulder shrugs, all those are reps of 12s. So the 12s never leave us. So even when I'm at the point where I'm just doing 3 reps or 2 reps, when I'm doing my accessories, I'm still doing sets of 12, which sucks. So like the compound movement, squat, bench, deadlift will be at 3s, so to speak. But then you have to do lat pull downs for 12, and like it's very interesting.
Yeah, you're not just there putting like 1 or 2 reps of that. It's like, again, a good program is like accessories. I think a lot of people associate powerlifting with just like, okay, bench, squat, bench, deadlift.
Which some people do, which is it's not smart at all.
No, as you know, because you need a well-rounded physique to help, because then injuries pop up, and just like the other muscles work synergistically with your body, and just like you want a well-rounded physique. And that's also why like football players, like even myself, like when I got more into bodybuilding in a sense, like my senior year of football, it actually hindered my performance. So I think like training, realizing like that building muscle in the general is going to help you with athletic pursuits, but there's also a way to do it. And so if you're just doing show muscles like bicep curls and just like leg extensions, that's really not going to translate on a football field.
Yeah, it's not.
And so same thing probably with like powerlifting. If you're just doing these big motor movements, but you're like supporting muscles and joints can't even for like a bench press, for example, like if you're always bench pressing and you're never doing any pulling motions, you're gonna have forward shoulders, more injury prone in your shoulders. But you do lat pull downs, you do rows, you do curls,
weird out.
You build up the other supporting muscles, and it then translates into that. Versus again, some people just associate just loading that bar.
I would just keep benching every single day.
Yeah,
and
some
people
do,
that's
but
not good.
No.
Like, and it's interesting that you mentioned about goals, because like I feel like they're so important, especially for things that you don't want to do, because like I'm so comfortable at home right now, like it's so cozy. The fridge is not far from where I sit down. Like there's so many things to keep me home. My wife, my daughter, and my son. Like
all good things.
All great things.
Yeah, so it's not like there's like it's gonna keep you home. It's not like you're like you're like in your mom's like basement, just like watching like or playing video games, or like it's No, you have great things.
Yeah.
It's like positive things. Like, hey, you want to spend time with your wife. You want to spend time with your beautiful family.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, well, I do have to be selfless in the sense to go out and train. But now, what does that look like? So that's where the goal comes from of trying to do like the two. Because I realized, like, okay, mentally, how can I visualize myself as 275 pounds? Because right now,
I see it.
Yeah.
I've seen it because like I visualize where we're gonna be. Like I see you at 275, and like I'm excited for you. I visualize it for you. Right?
Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
It's savage.
Because like I'm mentally trying to get there.
Do you see it yet?
No, I'm still trying to find it,
see it?
man. I'm still trying to find it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm still trying to find it. Like, and I know like once I finally like see it clearly, like I created a whole like album on my phone called Motivation, which is just all pictures of me like when I was in that 275 to 285 weight. But still, I'm still trying to connect it in my mind that I can do it. I'm not saying that I don't think that I can do it,
But you don't see it yet.
but I still haven't seen it like clearly. So it's very like, you know, I remember when I invited you. You're like, bro, you're looking great, man. You're looking jacked. And it's like in my mind, I'm like, thank you, bro. I appreciate that because I'm kind of stuck in my own head a lot of times because I'm tracking the progress. I'm taking pictures every Friday and sending it to my nutritional coach. And, you know, he's like, yeah, man, back's tightening up, all that stuff. But it's like, I don't really see the progress.
You see yourself every day.
Exactly. So I'm trying to, like, what's it called? Like, just go with the flow and things like that.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. But it's interesting because I think a goal is a double-edged sword in that it's good that you have something to work towards. But the issue with the goal is that once you get there, there's one or two things that can happen. You either get complacent or you realize that it wasn't fulfilling and then you regress and stuff like that. So I have this tendency to have layered goals, right? So, which, again, it's double-edged sword, but I've found that it does assist with progress. So obviously the goal, like the first layer of the goal is, hey, AD, like I want to get lean, right? I want to get lean. Being lean, the reason why that's important is because I want to compete in powerlifting. So at 275, if I'm lean, I still have muscular strength, but I've dropped a lot of fat because fat doesn't help you move muscle. But now when you get to that 275 weight class, that opens up the opportunity for you to be able to throw again potentially because I would be able to be more agile. So like another layer of that goal is like at 275, potentially I can start doing meets like in the summer, like in the summers, like throwing discus again. And not like competitively per se, but like that can open up that avenue. And like that whole idea now, it's like, okay, now at that point, it's like, all right, so now when I'm throwing again in the winter, it's like, what did I do last powerlifting season? Like, okay, I had a total of 1,700 pounds in between squat, bench, deadlift. How can I get to 1,800 over this off season? And then like try to maintain that strength during track. Do like 1 or 2 track meets. Or maybe even 2 track meets and then 1 or 2 powerlifting meets a year just to gauge my athletic performance. Because, again, that keeps the stimulus in because in days that I don't want to go, I'm like, oh, snap, like, I only have 2 track meets this summer. Like, am I going to chicken out in this workout and not have the explosiveness to, like, you know. But, again, although there's 4 events the whole year that, like, are, like, the celebration events or the celebratory events, most of the year I'm training actually. So it's like a way of just keeping myself in that mode of training. I found like that actually is probably gonna work the best for me. Rather than just me being like, I'm just gonna go to the gym and just work out so that I feel good. Like I at this point of my mentality, I need to have some kind of athletic barometer, specifically a competition. Because I want to show up to competition, feel lean, feel strong, and just know that I put in more work than everybody. And then just like PR, like just throw really far or lift really heavy, without risking injury. You know, because I've done the groundwork to strengthen the ligaments, the muscles, and things of that nature. That on that day I can make the necessary adjustments to capitalize on the energy of the crowd.
And just beyond that, like my mind goes to like a 275 or a leaner physique. Yeah, your risk for all health, all cause mortality 100%. Goes down dramatically. Your wife might be more attuned to have more children. You know, better chance like with your kids. And there's even at that weight, you could do different things. You could do surfing. You could do pickleball better. You could do like paddle boarding. Like you could just hike, you know, you can do rock climb, you know, it
Endless
opens up the
opportunities.
door.
Yeah, bro.
And like that's something I realized, like, is I got like, again, being at a certain, when you're physically fit, again, people just associate with today's world. Again, in our society where we are in like the U.S. and especially just like in normal office culture, it's like, hey, you're physically fit. Oh, it's great. Like you work hard in the gym and like, what you do? All you do is work hard in the gym.
Yeah.
Because like we're not connected to like nature and outdoors, but you go to other places or you go places by the beach or whatever, and you could be like surfing, you could be like hiking, you could be like paddle sports, you could be climbing. Like there's so many stuff you could do when you're physically fit.
Yeah,
versus if you're not physically fit, you can't really partake in those things.
Things are off the table.
You know, like I know you want a ranch one day. Like you have a horse.
How are you gonna move around your ranch?
Or go on a horse.
Right?
Like, how's the horse gonna hold you if you're that heavy? You know?
Exactly.
So it's like that's all the things. Like it opens up a whole new door of possibilities that in our current society we don't really, because everyone, again, there's nothing. Hey, you do what you want to do, but say our society, they try and create that, hey, it's inclusive, everyone can do whatever.
But it's not.
But it's not. It's like if you go travel other places and you expose to other cultures, you realize like most cultures, not in America, like people are fit, like older and fit, like they're doing whatever it is. They're not even usually doing weightlifting.
They're not
doing like yoga,
basic,
swimming,
just
like,
daily stuff.
just moving,
Climbing on top of their roofs. There's guys in their 70s in Costa Rica still climbing on their roof and changing the shingles in their roof and things like that.
You know, they're just moving. They're always active, and like it's just we're so far removed from that. But it's like we have to, as like Westerners, we have to consciously add movement into our lives. 100%. Otherwise, we would be weak, frail, and probably fat.
And then, interesting enough, I really do think someone's body is a resume for them. Because, like, I think food and physical fitness, it's discipline. So if someone's like out of shape, like, you know, like, or not even working towards it, it shows lack of discipline, which I think seeps into every area of their life. So their relationships, finances, everything is going to see. Yeah,
like, if you see a guy who's jacked and like lean and like
more than likely successful.
Like, okay.
Even if he's a complainer and a whiner, I've noticed that. there's a guy that I ran into that he's complains a ton, like whines a ton. But because he's physically fit though, amongst all complainers and whiners, he's in the top percentile.
Because he has discipline. You know, he gets it done. He might not want to do it, but
he gets it done. Yeah, yeah. Like he complains, whines, and like, but he gets it done. So,
and like that's
every time he calls this guy, it's like this happened, but he still gets it done. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of frustrating.
It's a shame.
But I can imagine if he didn't have that discipline, how worse off it would be. Yeah.
Because fitness, I think, is a gateway drug to like being growth minded and
You're right.
It's a gateway drug. But like all drugs, it can be negative. And I went down like you can become orthorexic, you can become obsessed, like to a point where it takes away from your life, which it can, and that does. Again, there's extremes to everything. There's an extreme like I'm never working out and like I'm eating whatever I want, and it's extremes that I'm working out hours a day and I'm like barely eating and like I have to be like 5% body fat all the time. Like I got so there's opposite ends of the spectrum, and like as you go through life, you go through seasons.
Yes.
And I think like the best is like finding what works for you. Yeah. And I think what worked for me is like being able to perform, not being so obsessed with how I look, more obsessed with how I feel and how I like can physically perform, like daily activities, hiking, running, jumping. My job, I have to be like active. And when I went away from just pure aesthetics and more about how I feel, how I sleep, how like my mood is throughout the day, that's when I have the best physique without it being as hard.
That's crazy.
And it's more self-love because if you go more aesthetics, and not all the time, but it could be more self-hate. It's like, hey, like, oh, you have a little fat and a love handle, or your triceps not that big, or like, you know, you're always just like criticizing yourself versus like, no, I want to feel the best as possible and like perform the best. And you might hold a little more body weight. Yeah. And that's okay. Yeah. Again, if there's no perfect physique. Yeah. And it's what's worked for you. And the other thing that's funny is like, especially like young guys, like I see with like social media and like these guys are just roided up and like huge, and so all the guys are like, I want to be like that, and like it's sad because a lot of these young men don't realize they start steroids early, like your endocrine system's messed up for the rest of your life. You're gonna be on TRT or all these other issues they usually don't do under doctor's supervision. Usually like this like guy in the gym like, yo, hey bro, I got this like needle
that I cooked up in my house. I just found out that they cook it up in their house.
It's crazy.
And they put grapeseed oil in it, and they like they literally cook it up in their house. Bro.
So
Tren is pellets that they feed to cows that they crush up and they cook in their house. Trembolone acetate, you can't buy it anywhere. Like, people literally make it in their house. Isn't that crazy to think? But I think, interesting enough for steroids, like I've never taken any steroids in my life, but, like, I made this joke to one of my buddies in the gym. I was like, if I take steroids, I think I'd get hurt. I'd injure myself because I'd overtrain.
Because you love training as it is.
I would just lose it.
And you wouldn't have, like, any, like, stop point.
I would just be like, no, like, at this point, since I'm risking my life for it, I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get injured on steroids because they, like, overtrain, or I don't think it strengthens your joints. It strengthens your muscles, but not your joints or your bones. You see a lot of people popping stuff, man.
As we said, people pop their pecs a lot, or, I mean, you see these crazy guys, because they're again, their body, their muscles are getting stronger, but their joints, their ligaments aren't, they can't handle that. Their body can't handle it. Versus like a natural guy, it's going to take a lot longer for them to get there, but they're building the other muscles and like the joints along the process. So, like, they can't just like get that, like, that red line real quick. Yeah.
But it is frustrating, though, the route that I'm taking.
It's harder.
Yeah, it's definitely difficult because it's like, it's such a slow moving needle. But I think in that, it's very comforting because I'm like, oh, well, I'm showing up again today.
You're punching the clock.
Exactly. And I know my wife supports me too, because she's like, you're already doing what matters. She was like, 80% of this is nutrition. So, like, don't kill yourself in the gym. Like, she always tells me that. It's great.
She's right.
Because it's true. Like, it does. But it's so fun killing yourself.
100%.
Like, going after it.
And I don't even, like, that's the thing. Like, I think there's a time and place to kill yourself in here, but, like, I realize, like, actually my physique, I look the best and feel the best when I'm either doing a deload week or if I'm training, like, half the volume.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, so, like, it's a mind.
Because it's less stress on the body.
Less stress, so you're less inflamed. You're less, like, you're less likely to overeat. There's so many other factors. I mean, when I was away in Costa Rica, I only worked out, I worked out 4 days technically, but I only did like 20-30 minute like workouts.
Wow. And
I looked the best. Like my abs were showing the most. Like I was the leanest. Like I felt loose. I was like, all I have to do is work out 20-30 minutes, 3 or 4 days a week.
Yeah.
And like I look better.
It's crazy, dude.
And so that I brought that back with me now. It's like, okay, this time, like I love training though. So I'm back into it. I'm pushing it hard. Like I'm training hard because I know once my season picks up, I'm probably going to adopt some of those principles of like, hey, like I'm going to dial back the training. Instead of working out for 90 minutes, I'll work out maybe for 30-40 minutes.
Which
and
makes
like,
sense.
so like, because I'm already active all throughout the day. It's like, right now I want to be in a season of like building muscle and building my body strong. Because in 3 weeks, my season's going to be maintenance.
100%. Because
So
you're
like,
not going to have the time.
Or the
even
energy.
Meals might be missed a little bit. So
yeah, because I'm on the road for like 12 hours a day. So like that's, again, but right now it's like, that's why I'm like, okay, I'm conscious of like, okay, I lost weight too while I was away, but I've gained probably since I've been back, just probably water weight, just eating more. I'm getting strong and I feel strong because I'm like, let's go.
I'm nourished.
I have food, so it's just so counterintuitive because like actually training less at a less intensity for type A type people, which I think we are, like we like to push it. Actually, your body probably will respond better to that.
I agree with you 1,000%, man. And I'm really trying to adopt that because when we first started, I was doing 2 a days, I was training like 14 to 15 times a week. Now I think I'm training so I think my normal split with Cormac is like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. So there's 5 days with him, and then I'm probably doing like five to 6 days a week. But but even that, like I dialed down last week because I only worked out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. And you have to because you want to get stronger.
Exactly. So I have to dial it back.
It's like if you're on exogenous hormones and stuff, you probably could keep that volume. But since you're natural, this is forcing you to dial back the training.
And I like that. And even within his training, it's not as intense. I mean, I'm not trying to say it's not intense. He's like, yo, bro, this is tough, but he doesn't understand how I was working out before. So, like, this actually is a walk in the park. The only way that it's harder is that some days I have to bench and squat. So, being a bigger guy, it's hard to get under that bar and then bench because my shoulders are sore from getting under the squat bar. But I'm very interested to see this. And I think it allows me to track it. Like, the app that I have literally shows me how much tons I move per word. So, it's like, I'm just, like, super excited to see it. But it's tough, man, because relinquishing control, too, is pretty tough. Because I like going in and, like, train partner, like, hey, man, what are we hitting today? And just doing that. That's different from, like, completely relinquishing control and having this set program. So,
but that also ties into
man upstairs, yeah.
It's like
just let go.
Trust the process.
Yeah.
Let go. Trust.
Understand that he knows more than I do. Like, you know, literally.
It's hard. And that's where the ego comes in. That's where, again, all of us are prone to like, oh, I know better, or I've done this before, or I don't need any help. But I think that's huge. I mean, it translates. He has like, no, like this guy, he's a doctor.
He knows.
Northeastern. Like,
he knows what he's talking about. So it's like, just let him do it. Like, you know.
And that's honestly might be almost freeing for you.
Very much so.
In a weird way, right? Because instead of like, you're not like, you just, hey, you show up, there's a plan. I just gotta, it's almost mindless. Like, you have to worry about it. Yep. And so that way, you're probably more present at home before you go to the gym.
I don't even need to think
you're not
about
like,
it.
okay, like, am I hitting bench today or squat?
Bro, during the workout, I pull it up. Like, I don't even remember the next exercise. I'm like, all right, this is what's next.
And I think that probably,
fantastic.
You're an hour or two more present per day with your family.
100%.
Because I know myself, I'm the same way. Like, people
fixate over
the workout, and that's why, like, I have a set plan. I'm doing this for 5 or 6 weeks, and that's what I'm doing. Because, like, people are like, oh, like, you don't make your own workout plan, or I either do, and like I have to like set out the 6 weeks if I do, but most likely I follow someone's plan. Because like I don't want to think about it. Like I just want to go in and just like punch the clock, do the business. Like, and when I'm out of the gym, like I'm all here. I'm not like worrying about like, oh, like what should I do tomorrow? Like I hit legs yesterday. Should I do chest? And I was like, Monday I have like set days, boom, 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 and then like that's what I'm doing. It's like it takes energy, you know. So I think you're probably more present before going to gym, even after with your family, because you're like, I got a plan, I'm trusting the process, and yeah, we go to the gym, it's game on, like that's my 2-3 hours, but when I'm gone, I'm there, versus it might be like 4 or 5 hours of you like, oh, I'm gonna maybe hit this gym, like, what muscle part do I want to bring up? Like, you know, it's like, it's crazy.
Let it be, man.
But you're more present.
So in terms of like, I noticed you've been posting your workouts now. How's that been, and what was the idea behind that?
You inspired me, my friend. You inspired me, my friend.
Talk to me.
Because honestly, I mean, just being honest, I didn't have a physique that I was proud of. Probably like, I'd say like 2020 to like halfway through 2023.
Wow.
I felt like an imposter. Honestly, when I was training people, my physique wasn't good. I just was not in a healthy spot. I was dealing with like the remnants of the heart surgery. I was dealing with this like overtraining, overworking, and my body just wasn't responding. It was very frustrating. So I was dealing with like imposter syndrome. So like I didn't feel comfortable in my own body. And I almost wish I documented more, because it'd be like cool to see. I mean, I do have pictures which I will eventually post of like what I look like now, and then like what I look like like then and now. And so like there was like I knew if I reached a point, like I knew like, hey, trust the process. Like eat lean protein, fruit, vegetables, tubers. That's basically it. Eat that. Exercise hard. Lifting at least 3 or 4 days a week. Cardio, not super high intense. Cardio at least. I mean, I do it almost every day, but like I walk a lot. But like steady state cardio, 30-45 minutes at least twice a week, and then maybe one high intensity thing a week. I knew that was the plan, and then like keep sleep as best as possible, and just trust that process. And don't do crazy diets. Stop fasting. Stop trying to do keto. Stop like trying to go down to 1,900 calories. And I'm just like, this is gonna work. Like trust the process, and it took longer, but now I'm at a point where I'm eating more than ever. And I look the best than I did ever, and like I have great energy. My sleep is good. Like because honestly, like most of my days, like when I was back, like I would be like so hyper focused on like what I was gonna eat, or like being hungry.
Hungry all the time.
Being hungry, or like stressing out about what I can and can't eat. I wasn't present. Like I was always like, even with work, I was like always like thinking about, oh, when's my next meal? Like what am I gonna eat? Like I gotta prep this. Like, and it's just like now I know like what works for me. Like I have a system. Like I eat the same things. Like I prep like kind of like a midday, like a lunch every day. Like in the morning, I make, no matter what my day happens, I have like my lunch meal. It's usually like either chicken breast or turkey, sweet potato, blueberries every day, no matter what day it is. Like even today, I got in the car. So if like I'm traveling or something, I have that meal. There's no excuses. And I have a pile of fuel, like always as a backup. And then I always start my day with like 50 grams of protein and either fruit or carb, and just keep those principles.
100%.
And so, and then with seeing you starting to post, and I was like, I gotta post. I gotta start like sharing my workouts.
100%.
And like it's been cool. Like I posted so I posted every workout that I like my normal routine besides my Saturday workout, which is like my vanity day. So I gotta post that. Hopefully I'll post that with you soon. But yeah, it's been cool, and the feedback's been really.
Of course,
been
man.
nice. Yeah,
of course.
And that's the thing too. It's like I don't know, and it's something I realized too. Is I want to post so like my kids, my grandkids can see it, be like, hey, this is grandpa.
Do you
Look at
understand?
grandpa. Here's a savage.
Because your dad, you talk about your dad, and you
I
talk about
wish I could
that
see
one picture, right?
He's just like a monster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's so many facets to posting that makes so much sense. Like for me, you can tell, like, I'm not even posting really for anyone else. It's for myself. I'm documenting like since last year,
to see,
and you can see the difference in the videos. Like
100%.
Like you're like, wow, like he's starting to look different. Like it's crazy. It's like I'm wearing the same clothes. Strength is going up, and like, but it's like so interesting to document that progress. And that for me, that's another high in working out, because I'm like, oh snap! Like it even pushes me. Like I remember on sets that I film, I tend to push it harder because I'm like, this is going to be online forever. So I'm gonna put like. That sounds crazy, but like that set, I increased the intensity on that set because I'm like, that is my best effort. Like I want to look back on that, a year from now when I'm in a better place and stronger, healthier, and be like, wow, you know what? He pushed it. I don't want to look too bad in that video. It's like that part. That sounds crazy, but
I get that.
I think I'm very competitive when it comes to athletics, so I always have to try to tap into that.
No, I think that's great, and like it also keeps you accountable because like, hey. You now have audience, like you have people like, hey, like people are seeing you. I'm sure 90% of it's positive, if not more. Like, hey, like, and it also kind of reinforces, like, hey, like,
I need to keep doing this.
Yeah, you need to keep doing this. Like, you're inspiring other people.
When people message you, like, hey man, like, when you posted "Don't Waste Your Workout," like it really spoke to me. I was like, oh snap! Like I got to keep doing it now.
You can't stop now, and I think that's the beautiful thing. Like I'm realizing posting, like with the workouts, just even this podcast is like. We're putting out like being our authentic self and like hey, like this is what we did, this is what works for us, this is what we learned, this might not work for you. Like, we're just being real. And I think to our listeners, like they listen, they pick up any pieces, like if they pick up one thing from this conversation, that's a beautiful thing. Because I wish I could, again, going back to our own thing, like talk to our younger self.
Could you imagine?
Like talk to myself like in college, hey Tom, like stop coming from a place of self-hate where you have to like have a 6-pack abs and like do this. Like no, actually eat in a way where you nourish your body, feel good, and like perform well. But again, nourish your body in a healthy way. Again, some people might misconstrue that with like, well, I'm nourishing my body by eating a gallon of ice cream every night. Okay, like maybe that's for you. I'm not judging, but I know me. If I had a gallon of ice cream, my sleep would be crap. I would wake up and I'd probably be so thirsty for all the sugar, and I'd be like cotton mouth. I'd be like, I just need water. Like the last thing I want to do is like go to the gym, so I just feel like below. Like so. Yeah. Again, I think it's nourishing your body and understanding what that actually means. Yeah. And I think finding what health looks like and what you want that for yourself to be. Yeah. For some people, it might be like, hey, like I just want to be able to like play with my kids. Walk without getting out of breath, or go upstairs without getting out of breath. Maybe like travel, because again, a lot of places you travel. If you go like to Europe or somewhere, it's a lot of walking.
It is.
Like you got to go walk up these cobblestone, or like it's people don't realize like there's like I want to travel and do all these things, but
you got to be able to move, big fella.
It's true, and so again, it's awful to say this, but there is like a barrier for people that they can't you can't do certain things if you're a certain weight, and that's the truth of it. It's not the saying to like not include you or like you can't do this, but it's a fact you can't do certain things if you're a certain weight.
You're right.
And so that's the sad truth. So it's like if you want to be able to have no restrictions, you want to like live a long, healthy life, then I think finding what that looks like for you is a beautiful thing.
And I think in addition to that, like when you think about fitness and well-being, it's not just an isolated event. Like, oh, like when I get to 275, that's it. I never have to go to the gym again. That's it. I look great, all that stuff. No, actually,
that's how it really starts.
That was a prerequisite to then now show discipline and maintenance or even better yet, the word stewardship, like stewarding over something you already have.
And so you might have like, hey, you might have like a couple of guys might be like, hey, AD, I want to work with you. You know, like you might be,
100%.
and that's where I think with this, where I'm seeing a logical extension of this podcast and us working together is going to be retreats or just a mentorship type
100%.
program. Like young men, like, hey, I'm kind of lost. Like I don't really know what I'm gonna do with my life. Like I got bad people. I'm not around the best people. Like I don't know what the key is. But like, hey, like that's fine. Like we're here to help. And like I think the first thing is like, hey, take care of your physical health. Like start getting a routine. Go to the gym. Better yourself. Eat better. Avoid drugs and alcohol. Like take care of yourself. You know, avoid like just stupid like binging on stuff. Like just take care of your vessel.
And everybody's routine is different, man. Like, I'm still trying to figure out my routine.
Yeah, because you're like a nighttime workout guy. I'm a morning workout guy. So it's like
even with nutrition. Like for example,
it's gonna change.
We haven't seen each other in like 3 weeks, right? These last 3 weeks, I've really been into ribeyes. Like
that's a great thing to get into.
I legit. It costs a lot of money.
Oh, it ain't cheap.
I'm eating ribeye morning, breakfast, and dinner. And it's fantastic. I'm full all the time.
That's good, great.
It's like very yummy. It's very fatty and all that stuff. But got two U.S. prime ribeyes. They're like the whole pack of ribeyes, like 4 or 5 of them was like $100. It's not cheap, unfortunately. But I realized that that's the cost to be a boss, man. But like I feel stronger, even though like my calories are. I stopped tracking completely, which is impressive. I stopped tracking for like a month, and I've just been eating ribeyes and chicken, I guess.
Hey, vegetables?
Dude, I cut.
So all you eat is ribeyes and chicken?
Bro, I was eating ribeyes and chicken for a month.
Nothing
Stool
else?
was normal. Everything was
nuts
normal.
or anything?
Oh yeah, nuts. Yeah, like cashews, almonds, all that stuff. But
I would.
But no, I'm just saying that like I just tried it out for like 3 weeks, where I was like. Actually, let me not lie. Like, I was having vegetables maybe like twice a week.
Okay.
But like, they were like large portions of like like beets and stuff like that. Like the leaves of the beets and stuff like that. But honestly, man, like I was like carnivore for 3 weeks. I'm not gonna lie to you. And like I was impressed by how my digestion system reacted to it, because I like was good. Like I was like, how is this happening? Like the frequency of bowel movements went down, but like it was normal, man. Like, and I felt really strong. But now I'm trying to modulate and incorporate more. I'm just lazy when it comes to vegetables. Like the broccoli and spinach, I'm like, I don't want to cook that. I'm just gonna cook the steak and eat it.
100%.
And eggs. I just throw an egg in, like 2 or 3 eggs. That sounds crazy though to say that out loud. Like I didn't eat vegetables for like 2-3 weeks. That's crazy.
But that's the thing too, that there's no one size fits all diet. There's I don't know if you know who Dr. Sean Baker is.
The carnivore guy, right?
Yeah. This guy's been
he only eats steak,
ribeyes for the last like 5 or 6 years, and this guy is
he's stronger than Stan Efferding.
He's
Stan
jacked.
Efferding put a video of trying to deadlift against. He's 57 years old.
You know,
or 58 or something.
So I don't think that's what again.
He has a company that he just created. I think it's like Hilo or something, or
I don't know.
I forgot what it is, but he has a medical company that he's the CEO of. So I signed up because I wanted to see, because they do like blood work for you and they recommend and stuff like that. But like they have like a wait list and stuff like that. So I'm like excited to like kind of, because like I can see how the carnivore diet can fit into what I was doing. Because my wife was looking at me like, dude, like, aren't you tired of eating steak? I'm like, no. Like I'm not, like ribeye steak is legitimately like, I got in a fight with my nutritionist. I was like, yo, dude, like just put ribeyes like that. He's like, dude, like they're too fatty, blah blah blah. I'm like, but bro, like I haven't tracked my weight, and like I'm still I'm consistently in the 350s now. Like I haven't gained weight since doing this. Now just figuring out the frequency, right? So it goes into my next question actually. So like as you were kind of modulating what you were eating, what was your process like? Because like right now I'm at a point right now that I find like this current weight that I'm at is maintaining it, like, but I don't know whether I need to eat more or eat less. Like what was your process of figuring out what and how much you needed to eat without necessarily tracking it, quote unquote, to like have consistent progress downward?
So I personally took out things that I would overconsume on. So things that were more, again, they're still healthy, but just more hyper palatable. So I just create rules. Like that's one thing I was going to suggest to you is cut out nuts because they are healthy. But if you're not tracking them and their calories, like I would say cut them out because
smart.
I know myself. Like I think nuts are they're delicious and they're great. But like if you're not like with that tablespoon, like measuring that out,
I went crazy with cashews.
You could kill them. Like they're delicious. And again, they are healthy, but they're just so easy to overconsume. So I think for me, again, I was done tracking. Nuts, not a thing.
Do you mind if I write this down?
Of course, yeah. So I would say cut out nuts. And the other thing is, I would, me personally, when I'm trying to like go down in weight, I guess on this and like with my current diet lifestyle, I just be more mindful of leaner cuts of protein.
Okay.
Because I still eat carbs. So me personally, carbs do well with my body, and I like carbs. So I go to a leaner protein, which instead of eating a lot of ground bison or ground beef, I do actually more chicken breast and actually or turkey breast. Also, going from ground beef to a steak is also better because ground beef you could consume more. It's just easier to consume. It's ground already, less chewing. So switching from ground to a steak or from ground turkey or ground chicken to chicken breast,
chewing motion
and it's not as tender. So those little things of going away from ground meat to whole meat, like breast, steak, and just leaner cuts. So instead of doing ribeye, maybe like New York strip, or even from New York strip to
flank.
Flank is a little fatty too. I would say like sirloin. Like top sirloin, top round. Those are just naturally leaner cuts, higher protein. And then the other thing is with me personally is starches. So I love sweet potatoes, as you know, big sweet potato guy. So when I'm trying to modulate and go down, I just only limit my starch carbs to either pre or post workout and try to not do any other times of the day. And other times I do fruit and focus on berries. I like all the berries: strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries. And me personally, I love oranges, so that's what I do, and stay away from like bananas and more of the tropical fruit because you just could overconsume that. Again, I think that's good, but if you're trying to do it in a way where you're not tracking stuff, it's just like, okay, more berries, more meat like steak, chicken breast versus the ground, and starches only pre and post workout.
Got it.
And so that worked out for me, and it still works out for me. Like for example, when I was away, I had no access to red meat, so it was just a lot of fish and chicken, and the starches were down tremendously. Like there's again whatever they had, so I just had a lot more fruit.
Yeah.
And I came back, I was like, I think 211 or 212.
Wow.
And like I wasn't trying, like I wasn't like hungry or anything. It was just by less starches, more fruit, less fatty meat, more chicken, and more fish. So it's just things like that. Again, not tracking anything out. And now, trust me, I was eating like 6 or 7 chicken breasts, and I was eating like 3 or 4 bowls of fruit, like because I just have a big appetite. So it's like I was still eating just as much, but it was just like it wasn't the same calorie dense. So like that's where it's like it's cool if like you really understand. I think that's why tracking's so important. Like I think everyone should track for at least like a couple weeks to know what food is. But as you realize, like more food that's more like a bowl of berries. One has a lot more fiber, but might only be like a cup of blueberries only 80 calories.
Wow.
Versus like a cup of like pineapple is probably like 160 calories. So it's like almost like double, but you get more. The berries have more fiber. Again, if you chew per berry, it's like more like takes more time. Yeah. So it's like just little things like that.
And then cheese too. How do you feel about cheese?
I personally, I don't do cheese, and like I would again, if you're trying to lose weight, I'd caution people on cheese because it's very easy to overeat. I'm just not a cheese person, so it never was an issue to me. But I do think what a great one is Greek yogurt. I think that plain Greek yogurt with some cinnamon is tremendous. Super satisfying, super filling, has great probiotics. I actually have a casein intolerance, and so I don't eat yogurt. I wish I could because I think Greek yogurt is so like if you have like 2 cups of plain non-fat Greek yogurt, you're not going to be hungry. Like if you are hungry, like you must really be hungry.
Yeah, you're a straight person.
Like 2 cups. That's like probably like almost like 30-40 grams of protein of just Greek yogurt. like you might be craving something sweet,
But you're done.
you're not like that's satisfying. It's like.
How about wild natural honey?
I think again, once you reach the leanness point, I think it is good. I think up until you reach a certain level, I think you could have a little bit, which I think is good for like your metabolism, fertility. Actually good for your blood sugar, which is like people are like, but it's so high in high fructose corn syrup. How is that good for your blood sugar? But actually, diabetic people that have honey, it actually improves their insulin and blood sugar. So I do think also be cautious of the honey though, because most honey you see like the Bear in the store, that's not even real honey.
No, of course. I'm talking about like the thick,
Real
like
honey.
you can. It almost feels like grainy.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you know sugar that hasn't fully melted in water and it has like that grainy texture.
It's like gritty.
Gritty, yeah. That's real honey, right?
That's real honey. Again, just be mindful that's real honey, and I think it does have a place. But I think if you're trying to lose weight, or lose fat, I would very limited quantities.
So if someone does like a tablespoon every other day, is that a lot?
Only a tablespoon of things like 60 calories, like 15 grams of sugar. So, and the cool thing is too, like if you're active, you burn that pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I think actually a really good pre-workout is like a tablespoon of honey and sea salt.
Yeah, I believe
Like
it.
a natural pre-workout, it's like sea salt, honey,
Electrolytes and honey.
because you have like the sugars, like all that stuff. Like you'll get a pretty good pump. Yeah. So, again, if you're lean, and then even honestly, I think once you reach a certain level, like you're don't worry too much about over-consuming calories. I think actually honey, real maple syrup, they actually play factors in like keeping your metabolism high, and actually might help you further lose weight. Because now I incorporate like pure maple syrup, and like I feel like I work out harder, I have more energy, and again I'm leaner. Like because
So how do you do your maple syrup now before working out?
I do it. So my current regimen right now is my training days. I do 35 grams of this organic cream of rice. I put
bodybuilder.
Oh yeah,
Cream of rice.
Cream of rice. I do some blueberries in it. I do probably like less than a quarter cup of blueberries.
Yeah.
I do one a teaspoon of pure maple syrup.
Yeah.
Then I have 1 teaspoon of coconut oil, and then 2 scoops of protein powder.
But it
and
tastes
orange.
good, probably, right? That thing tastes like dessert, probably.
I love it. I love it.
Literally, you're like, how is this getting me more jacked? Like,
and
it probably tastes so good.
In
Like,
a half hour, probably 15 minutes.
that
It's so
tastes
light in
like
the stomach.
that sounds like it slaps, bro.
It's
Better than any acai bowl that you can find.
And I feel light, like, because you eat like pancakes or something,
Yes,
you feel
yes,
heavy.
yes.
There's all like, within 15 minutes I'm good to
But
work
it
out.
probably tastes so
It's
good.
delicious.
Like
Yeah.
the flavor is just.
Yeah, but it's not. Again, the whole point of that
course.
is it digests quickly.
Yep.
So if someone trying to lose weight now might not be strategic if you're not going to work out right
Yeah.
after, because again, cream of rice it metabolizes quick.
Yeah.
The whey protein isolate metabolizes quick. Also, something I would say to incorporate in your diet strategically is coconut oil. There's been a lot of research and studies that coconut oil, actually people who consume some a lot, actually obesity goes down. So, and that's just something like I'm like a case study. I'm a case study myself. I've been consistently consuming coconut oil, at least a teaspoon every day, and I've gotten strategically leaner while eating more calories.
So what if I cook my steak with it? Like, let's say, okay, cool.
So I would say, again, a real coconut oil, organic.
Of course, like it literally hardens when it's cold, and like downstairs, I'll show you what I have.
Yeah, but I'm getting chills thinking about it, because like that's something I've included consistently the last like 2 years.
And you've seen difference.
And I think it works.
Because I've been alternating. I'm not gonna lie. Like these past 3 weeks, it was mainly I would do like maybe 1 or 2 meals a day with butter, and then
real butter,
like Irish butter.
That's good too. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, but coconut oil. Sometimes I feel guilty. Like, let me just use coconut oil this time.
Yeah, I would. Again, that's not the everything, but I think try incorporating at least a teaspoon or a tablespoon, especially on your higher fat. Like if you're going this carnivore route. Again, I don't think there's real like empirical data, but this one doctor named Ray Pete, he spoke about. He's like, yeah, I used to give my friends like coconut oil, like, and they're like, in rats it shows it reduces obesity. They change nothing else.
Bro,
just give them real coconut oil, and the obesity goes down.
That's crazy. Because I guess it helps your satiety too.
I don't know what that. I think it helps your body metabolize fat. I think
it's crazy.
Coconut oils are really cool. It's also like it's good for your gut. It's like anti-inflammatory. It's antimicrobial. You could like use this coconut oil. Like use it like
lotion.
sunscreen. Yeah. So coconut oil, I think, is a sleeper.
I agree with you.
So I consume every day.
I'm gonna make a conscious effort
Every day.
every time I cook now.
Coconut.
Just cook with coconut oil instead. And then in terms of beef tallow, have you ever heard beef tallow? People using that to cook too, because I have that in fridge
For
too.
carnivore diet, it's perfect.
Yeah. So
And I think it has
so
a
what's the
lot of-
benefits of beef tallow?
It's got like similar to real beef tallow, like why good cheese is good. It's like vitamin K levels that are high in it, and it's also got a lot of good fatty acids. Like a good beef tallow, it has just good nutrients. I honestly am not privy on the exact nutrients, but I think again, it also probably I think speeds up your metabolism. It's a fat we're meant to have.
Yeah.
Versus like, it's again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert.
Yeah.
I don't say I am or whatever, but a lot of doctors I do know or whatever, they always promote like the canola oil, it's low in saturated fat.
Canola oil is not good for you, right? It's like terrible,
It's
right?
industrial seed oil. But like they say it because they think when they look in people's arteries, they see like they're clogged or whatever, they assume the saturated fat causes the clog. So I mean, and
They assume that.
yes, and it's again, I don't think they're necessarily wrong either because like if you're eating a crappy diet and you're eating a lot of refined carbs and sugar and you're not active and you're eating all these like McDonald's saturated fat, like that, it probably does lead to that. But I think if you're a healthy person and you're eating like healthy amounts that are good for your body, like you check your blood work, it works for you, like tallow, ghee, real butter, like good like real cheese, like fatty ribeyes, like grass-fed, grass-finished ribeyes, like you're eating that stuff and you're active, like your blood levels are good. I think that's 10 times better than seed oils, safflower oil, soybean oil, because those, they're low in saturated fat, but they cause inflammation in the body. Which every disease comes from inflammation in the body.
100%.
So it might not show that, okay, this person had a heart disease, and it's because they think their arteries are clogged because they had a lot of cholesterol, but it's like, or maybe it's because they had so much crappy oils that their body's so inflamed that then so it's like
it's a balancing act.
Yeah.
I also think that part of this is again a theory. I'm not a medical professional or anything like that, but I was thinking to myself, I was like, because my mom, she went on cholesterol meds, and I've known her never to eat red meat already, and she'd always watch her cholesterol her whole life and avoid things with cholesterol inside. And I remember when I was like at my fittest, my cholesterol was low. But I was working out a ton, I was eating the egg yolks and all that stuff. Could it be that because someone doesn't put the good fats in their body enough, their body isn't used to metabolizing it, so whenever they do eat that, their body holds on to it because they don't know when they're going to get cholesterol again or going to get that fatty stuff again, and just kind of holds on to it? Maybe it could be even that simple. Because why is it that people who don't care and have diets where they're eating a lot of the fats, like carnivore, like eating high fats, high protein diets, have normal to low cholesterol levels?
Lifestyles, because most of those people that are doing that, they're low body fat, they exercise, they lift weights, they're conscious of mindful of being stressful, they get outside in nature. It's such an accumulation of things.
So lifting weights actually reduces your cholesterol though, right?
I honestly don't know. I know lifting weights and getting stronger 100% increase your insulin sensitivity. So like your blood sugar is better, all that. I think it's got to, just exercising, it's got to improve. Maybe not, like it has to.
Maybe in the long run, not like immediately.
But that's the thing. Like I think the problem is like I look at people that are healthy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take advice
from someone who has like they're hooked up to a machine and stuff like that.
Like Bill Gates, who's he's frail and all that, and he's like, eat plant-based Beyond Meat burgers, all these seed oils and all this like cornstarch. No, I'm gonna take advice from Dr. Sean Baker. This guy's 57 and jacked, lifting like 800 pounds. That's the guy who I want to be.
100%.
I know, and like I personally rather live a life full and strong and like being able to mobile all that and die at 85, 90 versus live a long life where I'm like 110 hooked up on the machine and frail for the last 30, 40 years of my life. I'd rather live a life full and be strong and so I look at people that they might be going against the grain or whatever, but they like, again, other doctors, he's got Carnivore MD, Dr. Paul Saladino. Do you know him?
No.
You should check him out. If you like Sean Baker, you like him, and he advocates for like an animal-based diet, and he really does just meat and fruit, and honey, like real maple syrup, dairy, like all the stuff we had access to, basically paleo. besides tubers. He doesn't like tubers or vegetables because he like all the endotoxin. But all he eats is meat, liver, organs.
So endotoxin. Talk to me about that. What's that?
So like plant defense chemicals.
Okay.
So for example, like an animal, their way like for our body to defend, like they run away from us. Like a deer runs away from
Literally.
But a sprout of broccoli can't do anything out of the way. So like it has defense chemicals. So it's like that's why like eating raw broccoli, probably either cook it down, either break it down. So plants have natural occurring toxins, which again, at small amounts, I think they do like anything. Like it's like again, working out inflammation. It does improve your immune system. So, but if you're just eating bowls of lettuce all day, like you're gonna be bloated. You're probably not gonna have good energy.
Wow.
So versus like you eat food like fruit, which it's meant for you to eat because it has seeds.
Yeah.
So you eat the fruit. Again, some fruits maybe the skin you shouldn't eat, but like you eat most fruits, you peel the skin or whatever. You eat that and it has seeds, and so you poop it out, and then it naturally it wants you to eat it.
Yeah.
Animals, they don't want you to eat them, but they run away, but you could get them.
Yeah.
And then plants, they have nothing to do, so they just have naturally occurring toxins like leaves, all that stuff. And so he advocates that like a lot of it's just like you don't feel as good if you're eating a lot of plants. And me personally, I do think plants are good at certain amounts, smaller quantities, well cooked. Or I think a raw carrot plays a point. But like I used to be the guy who would have like that big giant salad, like 4 or 5 heads of romaine, avocado, and chicken. And like I wondered why I was like just bloated, like didn't want to like move the rest of the day. Versus now, like I have a baked sweet potato. Take the skin. I used to eat the skins too. I used to always be bloated, so I don't eat the skin anymore.
Yeah.
So I do like a baked sweet potato. Take the skin off, and I have like either turkey or chicken and some berries. And like after I eat that, I could go like work out. You know, I feel fine. Versus if I had my big bowl of lettuce, I'd be like, it's and I'd be like kind of like because our body's like has to process all that fiber, all those toxins. But again, I think at small quantities, again, I think it's healthy because it helps build your body's tolerance. So like, that's where I think vegetables play a point. And also the other issue with a lot of vegetables nowadays, especially non-organic, is they're sprayed with glyphosate, all these pesticides, herbicides, all this, and that's why I think a lot of people have so many autoimmune issues, like people are getting sick. So even organic, the residual so say like in California, there's a farm like more up north and it's like has pesticides, herbicides, and there's a farm down below. It's all organic, but it runs down.
Bro, it's cross contamination.
Versus a cow who's beautiful that has stomachs and it processes out all those chemicals.
They have like 7 stomachs or something.
Yeah, so like it eats the grass for us.
Yeah.
And then it literally has pure, delicious ribeyes for us. Like
literally.
You know. So it's again.
That's so like going back into that. With the carnivore diet, what is the carnivore diet? And so could you just break down to me the difference between, or explain to me what the carnivore diet is and what a animal, you said
animal based.
Yeah, because there's a lot of words. Could you break that down for me so I can?
Yep. So like Dr. Paul said, you know, a lot of people, even Sean Baker, like all those guys, they went carnivore. Basically, carnivore diet is like all you eat is meat, eggs, dairy. Again, some do, some don't. But basically, meat, predominantly red meat, ruminants, so like bison, elk, antelope, you know, a lamb. So you red meat, just sea salt and eggs.
Wow. So no black pepper.
No black pepper.
Wow.
Because again, it has like the toxins. Again.
Oh, black pepper. Oh.
But again,
how does steak taste with just sea salt?
I eat it all the time. I love it.
Oh, so you don't put black pepper on the steak?
Not on my steak.
Wow,
yeah, I only put sea salt. I put that Celtic sea salt. But
I'm impressed.
That's again, that's the extreme end of things. It's good for people.
I need to experience this stuff.
It's the extreme.
Here I am. I've been adding black pepper to my steak. I thought it was carnivore. So that actually is not carnivore if you add black pepper.
Technically, again, the hardcore carnivore is just red meat, ruminants.
Because I thought black pepper like helps you get lean though, or it doesn't.
Well, not black pepper per se. I mean, actually black pepper helps your body. Like you see it sometimes in like vitamin capsules because it helps your body like break down and process. Like usually, like for example, I take like beetroot capsules and it has organic black pepper in it because it helps your body process it. Also, if you take black pepper, cool. If like you want to sweat more, like before sauna, put some black pepper in your water and you'll sweat more. It's kind of cool.
Crazy.
But yeah. So hardcore carnivores are just like meat, like basically just like steak.
Yes.
Like bison, cow, lamb, like all those big animals, and eggs and salt. Nothing else. They don't even do coffee technically. Like a hardcore carnivore, but the premise for that is for people that have like eczema, autoimmune disease, or rheumatoid arthritis, like, and like something is causing inflammation in their body, or even some kids that have like what's it called, like ADHD, or like all different type of autoimmune diseases, and like they show that like it actually, like Dr. Jordan Peterson, perfect example, his daughter Michaela Peterson, like they had all these issues. And he only eats meat now. He only eats steak. He only eats steak and like sparkling water, and he feels the best, like all that. So I think there's something like, I don't think this is right for everybody. I think you have to be an omnivore, eat foods that know what feels good for your body. But hardcore carnivore, meat and salt. That's it. And then Dr. Paul Saladino, he was the guy who was carnivore for a while, but then he's like, the only downside that I see within myself is like, okay, because you're on a line of like keto and like gluconeogenesis, is like high protein, so your body's metabolizing protein for glycogen. The only downside is that like your metabolism could slow. It could affect your thyroid health. You know, like thyroid affects a lot of things. Like could be, you start losing your hair. You know, you could just have lower energy, like almost lose too much weight sometimes.
Wow.
So you see like some of these doctors that were hardcore keto, like they now introduce carbs because like they got too skinny or whatever.
Wow.
So that is, and also performance. That could be, depending on your body, it could be hindered. So Dr. Paul Saladino now is like, okay, he adds now super low inflammatory foods, like carb sources, which is fruit. He focuses again on fruit that's like, he does a lot of like tropical fruit, which is easy to digest, like pineapples, mangoes, papaya, bananas, and he does like raw honey, syrup, and he does like dairy, like kefir, cheese, you know. And so that's like his thing. So like he does it more so because it makes him feel the best. Like he feels good energy. Like he can work out. He surfs. He's active. He lifts. Like all that stuff. He's got a good physique. So he gets like the protein, the fats from all the animal sources, which he was doing when he was a carnivore. And now to keep up with like his activity for his own health, like the thyroid, all that stuff, he incorporates just like fruit.
Wow.
Which I think, if I had to like pick one of those, I choose his route.
Yeah.
Because I feel good on carbs. I don't do well with no carbs. But again, I think the pure carnivore has a place for people that are very overweight. So I think like
initially it could be a good way for you to
come down.
Because I was thinking about that just now. I was like, well, I do agree with you with Dr. What's his name?
Paul Saladino.
Paul Saladino. But I also realized that there could be some weight in carnivore. Like maybe potentially for the next month, I should try to do the carnivore or just steak and salt. Because I have been over seasoning my steak. I've been putting garlic powder, black pepper, like a lot, red pepper. Like I've been, like my steaks have been seasoned.
Yeah, but if you feel good, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that.
Yeah, of course. But I also want to give weight to see what it is if it's just meat and salt. I don't even know what that tastes like. Just
I'd say try it. I mean, if you're ready kind of doing it and you feel good, I would say cut out the nuts, just do meat, salt and eggs, and see how you feel.
Just see how I feel. Yeah.
Because I mean, so people usually do it for 30 days, like a reset. Because
I'm gonna do 30 days.
Yeah.
Just check it out.
Yeah, and people do that one either to lose weight, like Joe Rogan does it to like lose weight, or people do it because they have autoimmune stuff, and they start after.
Eczema is autoimmune. Dude, I have a little bit of eczema on my back actually, so I'm interested to see. Yeah. I noticed that it went down a little bit since I've been eating, but like I want to see like is it gonna completely go away?
Yeah, I would say just
take out all the inflammation,
salt, and that's it.
And eggs,
and see what goes down. Maybe cut out the nuts, because nuts again, nuts are good, but they also have the plant defense chemicals. 100%. Yeah, especially peanuts.
I'm just curious to see what that would be like for 30 days. Yeah. So let it be known. Like today, I start. Today's February 25th. I'm going till March 25th. Just ribeye, salt, and
but the cool thing is you can explore. You get like bison, you get like different cuts of beef. Just you go to you can have fun with it. I think that's cool. If you love meat, you just go to Costco and be like, hey, I'm gonna have some lamb today.
Bro,
I'm gonna have some Wagyu today.
Bro, I brought 2 lamb racks from Costco, dude.
Yeah.
Those things were fire, dude.
Treat yourself.
I was surprised. I was like, look at me shoving up. I cut it up, like grilled it. Like, oh my goodness.
Well, yeah, you got a whole section.
I don't have a grill yet. I'm just cooking it on the green pan that you gifted my family. That green It's fantastic.
Right? Aren't they great?
It's fantastic.
But that's a cool thing too. I think also the cool thing about the carnivore diet is simplifies it.
So easy.
It's
So
so
when
easy.
I'm hungry, I just go to the
put meat.
kitchen. It's like just put meat on the grill, and it's so quick. Like it's down to a science.
You don't have to chop
5
anything.
minutes. Set the
You don't have
timer
to saute
5 minutes each side.
anything.
It is done.
You don't have to prep. You have to. It's just like.
I
sea
don't.
salt.
I don't meal prep. I cook all my meals fresh. So like
That's tough, and that's something.
that you wish you could do, or
Uh,
like I have the luxury because I'm home.
You're home,
like,
yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
right now. Obviously, when I get back to work
Mhm.
in June, but June is so long from now.
yeah. If you use it. If you
Sorry
if
for
you
cutting
enjoy-
off. You had an idea. You
No,
had an
no.
idea.
I say if you enjoy, do it.
Yeah.
It's like there's something, especially like a nice ribeye. You don't want to put that in the
That's
refrigerator.
what I'm saying,
A fresh cooked
dude.
ribeye.
That's what
If
I'm
I had the, I mean, if I had the reason, I would do that all the time. And that's one day I'll be able to do that. It's like, yeah, we'll grill or strip. Well, you come over, I try to do that.
Yeah, and it's fantastic. His strip is amazing. So it's funny because I started this journey in October. I mean, we started a little before that,
Mhm.
but I think you've noticed, like with this kind of effort, it's been a little bit more consistent than when I started earlier.
Mhm.
What are some things that you feel like I'm doing well? What are some things that you feel like I should improve on to kind of set the course?
I think you're doing a great job of not being dogmatic and like taking inputs from your coaches, from different people, from me, and also not being so like rigid or like so like all in like, hey, like what he says is gospel, but like also listening to your body.
Yeah.
Like, hey, like you're like, I feel good. Like I'm just eating meat. I feel good. Like I don't need like I don't think I need vegetables or anything like. Yeah, I'm not saying that's the right thing, but it's like it's a combination of yes, taking an input, but also being more aware of how your body's responding. So I think you're doing a great job of that. And the thing I'm proud of is just you're being consistent. You know, you keep showing up. Life has handed you things like good and bad,
Yeah.
and so it's you're still showing up. And like most people, I think they say it's like 6 months. I think Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about, is like after you do something usually for 6 months consistently, then you're usually good. So you're right at that threshold where it's like you just keep this going, and then I'm excited for it because like you're doing it the right way. You're doing the marathon version, which we talked about early on, and so I think this is going to be a beautiful thing where you're going to maintain this for the rest of your life, and like we're going to be like working out. You'll be like 265, 270, like throwing weight around, like we're gonna be in our like string tops, and then I told you if you want to go down to a bodybuilding show, I'd join you. So
let's go.
I promised you that. So I
bodybuilding, I'll probably have to go down to 240, 230, 220, but that would be
Yeah.
sick too.
Yeah, and that
to
could be
get down
another
there.
documentation. But like I will if you get down there, I will join if you want to do that. Again,
course.
you might reach a point where it's like, hey, like that's not me.
It's not a goal, but
because you know how much like
it takes to
it
get
takes,
there,
and
yeah.
it's almost unhealthy to get there.
Or it takes away from like all the other
Day-to-day
things I'm
life.
working to.
Because you'll be able to probably eat the ribeyes all the time.
And I
anymore.
probably won't be able to bench, 500
No,
pounds.
you're
at
gonna
that
be
weight.
like tired, hungry, and like just a miserable person. Because like I've been down, like down to like not as much muscle right now, but I've been down like 204, 203,
Wow.
and like dieting hard. And it was like 2 cardio sessions a day.
Wow.
It was a lifting session, 45 to 60 minutes. It was eating like 5 or 6 meals, just like chicken breast, steamed vegetables, only like 3 carb meals a day. It was miserable, and I mean, I was like shredded, but I was like, I am
At what
unhappy.
cost?
I'm cold all the time. I have no sex drive. Like all I want to do is just like sleep and
Not-
like eat. That's all I want
Not
to do.
the hypothermia. It's like
I was
wearing
just
gloves
like-
in the
I was like in the living room, like in
Yeah.
college. I was just like wearing a sweatshirt, and like and like they're like, why are you? I'm like, I'm cold, and like you're like, what's wrong with you? You're never cold. I'm like, and like they would see me, like it would be like the gym's closed, it's snowing. I'd be like outside, just like running up and down, or like up and down the stairs in the house, just get my cardio. And like my 21st birthday, I didn't even drink because I was on this crazy diet. Like,
Crazy.
it's just so stupid, But like, I don't know why.
You're
I
like
did it.
on menopause. You're like, I have chill. Oh, I'm getting hot.
Yeah.
Take all this stuff.
So I know what that is.
Yeah.
But
it's
I
tough.
also know that if
But maybe we can
do
even go
better.
about it in a healthier way.
There's
That's what
such
I
a
was
better
thinking.
way.
That's-
There's such a
Because I was
better
like, I'm not eating 6 meals a day, bro. I'm gonna do 2 or 3.
Yeah,
And I'm still
there
gonna
is a
keep cutting.
different- that
I'll
was
just
my
eat
approach.
half steak. Like I'll do how Arnold used to do that. I'll eat half a piece of steak. I
Yeah.
want to eat a full piece.
there
of
is such a better way.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a 10 times better way to that.
Bro, you don't even understand like how bro, I'm in my mind I am so locked into the marathon approach, but I also understand the opportunity I have. So today's February 25th. as of this moment, I don't have to go to work till June 24th. So what? February, March, April,
4
May.
months.
That's 4 months. So it's like, with that 4 months, it's like, all right. So I'm like, okay, let's say I'm 360 right now, after eating throughout the day, but like in my mind, I'm like, is it realistic for me to want to be under 300 pounds in 4 months, or is that too aggressive?
I don't think it's right or wrong. I think
because I'm trying to really
Yeah.
console, because I'm trying to accept the fact that I have 4 months of my life where I don't have to think about work.
Mm-hmm. But to that point, I don't want it to be 4 months, because you could just be a crazy man and be in the gym all day, or
and then just
like
lose
crazy
all,
diet
and
do 4 months of that, and then after that you go back to work like your crazy schedule and you gain all
rebound.
that.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, do what you would do if you were working.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I wouldn't say, like, again, for long-term approaches, like, you could just be like, hey, I'm gonna go to the gym and do 3 hours of cardio.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna eat it. Like, you could just kind of go like balls to the
Bananas,
wall and do that. And that could work if you like want to drop the initial.
Yeah, that's not smart. Like, for the long run, it doesn't make sense. Because I can't. I mean, that's just being real with you. Like, I think about that a lot. I'm like, bro. Yeah. All right. Like every day, every week that goes by, I'm like, oh snap! Like, I'm closer to having to go to work. Like, how can I like still maintain this? Like, because I understand this is golden time. Like, for me to not have to think, for me to work out from 8 to 11 and not have to worry about going to work in the morning. I know I can sleep in to like 10 or 11 to get my full 7, 8 hours. Like, there's so much things that I can move around.
I would say the one thing I would include more of that will help you lose weight is walking.
Yeah. Okay.
And do that
because I'm not walking enough, man.
Take your daughter and go for walks.
Yeah.
Make that a staple, or you're pushing your baby boy around, or bring Shalapa if she wants to. But
even around the house, because downstairs, like,
it's a big house.
I can do laps.
You can do laps up and down these stairs, bro. You got some stairs. But I would really, it's gonna be a couple things, Paul. It's like, one, you take your daughter, you go outside. It's good for just like your mentals, especially you're not at work, like just being outside. Yeah. But you're gonna incorporate your family into this. I think that's like the key, is like incorporate friends, family, because you have that time. So it's like, don't make it an isolated thing where you're just like, you're with, again, you're not isolated because you always work out your boys. But your goal with this time with the paternity is to spend time with your family. Yeah. So how do you incorporate it? Where it's like, okay, like, come on, Shalapa, we're going for a walk, and you pull a little AD around, like, you're doing that. I think that, and again, it doesn't have to be around here. Like, go to a park, like, you have the time, the means. Like, go to. There's so many nice parks around Jersey. Like, you come by me, that's like called Duke Island State Park. Like, it's beautiful. Like, it's
Duke Islands.
Yeah, Duke Island Park.
Okay.
It's cool. Like, you literally don't think you're in New Jersey anymore.
I love to hear that.
Yeah. So like, there's so many parks. Like, if you don't like walking around here, there's a lot of cars, like whatever.
Scenery.
Just go.
And that would be like our escape, kind of weekly,
escape.
two, 3 times a week, just escape.
Yeah, just like make it like, again, it could be like whatever you set a time, like Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings, or twice a week on a nice day, like go. And then even, I would say, even like around here, like a nice day like today, like try to go for a walk, like, but incorporate them, because like the whole point of your being home is to spend time with them. Yes. So make them part of this journey. Like, your daughter will see, like, daddy, where he's walking, like he's on the journey, like I'm with him. Big carry her on your shoulders, be a weighted vest.
Literally, bro.
So
literally.
I think do that, and also like walking is so underrated. And I guarantee if you get your steps up, like just that, you keep the same diet, same workout schedule. Just the only thing I would say is, like, you have the time, get those steps up. Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing, because it's not stressful on the body. Yeah. And you'll lose even more weight. So I would say walking.
It's amazing. And
you'll see the mental clarity too, like better peace with God, like, better. It ties into so many things, like, and that's something too, what I incorporated in my lifestyle that helped me keep the weight off and lose, is like post-meal walks. 10 to 15 minutes, especially after big meals, go for a walk. It's so good for digestion, it's so good for blood sugar sensitivity, it's also good way to get your steps in. So I try to go on more walks. That's one thing. You have the time, incorporate your family, that's why you're doing paternity, and just go on those walks.
That makes sense. Dude, I didn't realize how much I missed this, man. It's so good to, like...
we even touched the surface.
Yeah, it's just so nice. Like, of course we have it. But, like, it's just so nice, like, just to be back to schedule. And even the fact that we even honor this time, because we put in the calendar I kept checking. I was like, hey, man, isn't this... Oh, it's not this Sunday. It's next Sunday. But, like, I was looking forward to this. It's crazy. I know this is... I told you this is going to be our longest episode ever. And I'm pretty sure it has been. But
How much time do you think we're in already?
I think we're in. So it's 1:37 right now.
Jeez.
Hopefully we're still recording.
Yeah. If we close on that note, we even get into Costa Rica. That'll be another episode.
I know that's going to be another episode. So I really appreciate you all checking in. We kind of scratched a level with Costa Rica, but we have a lot more to talk about with that. But you guys are going to have to tune in the next episode for that. I think it's going to also give us a lot of time to kind of prepare, because I also really want to make sure that we can all benefit from kind of like learning from that experience that you went through. And I also have to put together questions for it. I only had like 2 or 3, but now I can like put together like 9 or 12 to kind of get going. And I'm really excited for that conversation, because it's a very interesting journey that you went on. I still don't know the details, and I'm not going to ask when the camera goes off. So I'm very excited for you all. But I just wanted to let you all know that I love you all very deeply. Obviously, you guys know I love Tom very deeply. His love for me, hopefully, is mutual. It still is. I'm just joking. And I hope you all have a good time. And for anyone who's going through depression or any hard times, definitely try to reach out to like friends and family and get help, because there's no point for you to be isolated. Tom was talking about my journey as well. In anything that we do, isolation is like the most dangerous thing, because it can really draw you away and have you have negative thoughts. So,
and just reiterate what AD said. Just seek help. You're not alone. And I love this guy. I love you guys for tuning in. And all the best. Have a great, this is probably posted on Wednesday, so have a great rest of your week. And we'll stay tuned for more content, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
absolutely.
Yeah. Let's go.